Hi, I'm Steve Drake, chef and proprietor of Drake's Restaurant in Ripley. Yeah, we've got a gluten-free menu. One, because there's so much demand for gluten-free these days. Everyone's watching their diets, and it's one of those things that become more and more and more difficult for us to do this. Inspiration behind serving an eel custard really is that if we serve like a piece of eel, people are a bit frightened of it. So what we've done, we've infused some milk with smoked eel and made a little custard. First poach and then just roast it slightly. We put a honey and soy glaze on it, and then what we wanted to do is to add a bit of sweet and sour to the whole dish. And I'm a really big fan of the Wakefield Triangle rhubarb. Those three towns, you know, up in the north of England, and I'm such a big fan that I love rhubarb, the sourness of it. And what we did was we took some sweet corn and we just boiled it in the normal way, just like you would buttered sweet corn, and then we burnt it with a blowtorch to give a real kind of toffee, sweet and slightly bitter flavour. We used a little gel made from pink grapefruit and rhubarb. We had pickled rhubarb on there, so we've got a lot of sweet and sour things going on there, but very delicate. And then finally, just underneath, we've got some lettuce which we've compressed in a sous vide machine. So it's just normal old Oloroso lettuce with some olive oil and salt. So we've got a really sort of interesting dish, a delicate dish of sweet and bitter flavours, because the lettuce is a little bitter as well. Sweet and bitter flavours with the lovely poached and roasted quail. Scallops are roasted quite simply. We make an oyster mayonnaise, which is just amazing, with no eggs at all. So it's just because there's enough protein in the oyster itself. We use lovely rapeseed oil, it's an amazing product from this country as well. And then the other thing we do is we take some broccoli and we cook it in seawater. And it's our own seawater that we make by just using water, adding some kombu seaweed to it, and then we serve it with some dried broccoli leather, which has got some toasted poppy seeds on it. So it's really subtle flavours of the sea. Some lovely sea bass, line caught sea bass, incredible fish. And again, we've served this with oxtail, which is a very nice accompaniment. Sea bass can take quite a strong flavour. So we've braised some oxtail, set it, sliced it very thin, laid it on the plate, and it warms up gently from the heat of the plate. Roasted our fish on the plate. Now, when I was a kid, my mother just fed me with tomato ketchup all day long. She was a big fan of it. So, but we've made a ketchup from set mushrooms, and again we've roasted some beautiful set mushrooms off, added some sherry vinegar and a little bit of water, cooked it for about 20 minutes, blended it up, and you get like a puree which again has a bit of sharpness like you would associate with a ketchup. So it works really, really well with the fish, that kind of, again, that kind of sharpness that you kind of need with fish, but also works really well with the beef as well. So again, a very simple but really lovely, lovely little dish. Thick slices of cauliflower, and we've baked them on this plate that's inside this clay oven. And with that, we've just served some simple accompaniments, starting with curry. So we make a curry oil with the cauliflower, and we brush it with it, and then we just add some sultanas, some raw cauliflower sliced on a mandolin, some lovely little sorrel leaves, a little bit of sorrel mayonnaise, and then a little bit of sultana puree as well. So you've got, again, a little bit of sweet and sour going on there, different textures of cauliflower with the raw sliced, very, very thin of course, and then the actual clay baked, again brushed with the curry oil, which is quite thick. And it's supposed to be, it's not supposed to be cooked too much. You want a bit of texture there. You've got to be able to use your teeth. It's the whole idea. We've made a puree of crab apples, and what we've served with this is we've taken the Mallard duck, we've roasted some of it, we've poached some of it with a little bit of black pudding inside. And what's really nice with black pudding is chocolate. So what we've done, we've grated some chocolate over the top of the dish. We've served some lovely little baby turnips with it as well. And baby turnips can be a little bit bitter, but that's quite good because it works well with the bitter chocolate. The chocolate works really well with the black pudding. But what's really interesting is that the crab apple is almost a bit limey. has that kind of limey flavour sometimes because it's quite sharp. And chocolate and lime is an amazing flavour. And so we discovered that chocolate and crabapple is an amazing flavour as well. It works incredible. So we've kind of got all those ingredients together of the black pudding, the wild mallard duck, the turnips, the chocolate, and finally the crabapple. And it is an amazing little dish, full of flavour and quite a clean dish for a game bird, which you can associate with being quite heavy. Quite a savoury course, not quite a sweet course, but we've got this like a little cheese course that we do, and a Tunworth cheese, an amazing cheese. And I guess we could say it's as good as what we would say a Brie de Meaux is, I think, in this country. I mean, it's smaller, it's about this size. It's thick, very, very nice cheese. Probably one of our most local cheeses, and we've just served it quite simply. We've made we've infused a milk with celeriac and almond, and then set it with some agar, which is the vegetarian setting agent. So we've got a set milk that we serve it, and it's almost like a little curd we're serving with the cheese. So I'll make some celeriac, some few little celery leaves, some Granny Smith apple, again that works really well, nice and sharp there again, and finally a little bit of truffle for a bit of luxury as well. And again, lovely little cheese course, works really, really well, and it's a bit different from us presenting the cheese board, which we do, we present the cheese board, but it's quite nice to give someone a nice little plated cheese course that we've created as well. Nothing overpowering the cheese, just a few little accompaniments to go. It's really quite a simple chocolate mousse which we've aerated. We've made it in one of the siphons. We've made a chocolate mousse and put it in a siphon gun, and then we've squirted it into these moulds, quickly froze it very, very quickly to keep the air in. We've sprayed it with a paint sprayer, basically, with some chocolate butter inside, and then we've served that with a milk jam. Now, milk jam is really, it's not white, it's like a toffee colour, but it's milk, sugar, boiled down to jam stage. And then we had some puffed rice with that. We've got some yoghurt sorbet with it, some dried milk crisp with it, and it's all the things that I associate with breakfast. You've got like the rice, as in like the Rice Krispies in the morning, the chocolate from the Cocoa Pops, the yoghurt, things like that, and the milk jam, of course, and jam, and so it's kind of brings back nice memories for me. Parsnip parfait, parsnip frozen mousse, and then with that we serve blackberries and a sorrel ice. The French would call that a granité, but I like to call it an ice. And it's an amazing dessert. I'm very, very proud of it because we make a sweet puree of parsnip, and we make a simple parfait by adding cream, what we would call a pâte au bombe, so a sabayon basically. And we set those in little moulds, and with the blackberries and the sorrel you get a real kind of headiness to it. That's the only way I can describe it. The flavour, it almost fills the head with, almost makes you a little bit dizzy. It sounds a bit strange me saying that, but it makes you a little bit dizzy, and it really works well together. That with the parsnip, and then again we make a little bit of blackberry. We make a little tube out of blackberry and put a little bit of yoghurt again inside, a little bit of yoghurt foam inside. So the yoghurt and the blackberries work well together. The sorrel adds that herby headiness, the zingy flavour, and then the parsnip, of course, which is just like an ice cream, very sweet, quite unexpected. We pride ourselves here on being able to cater for virtually anybody. So we have vegetarian menus, we have gluten-free menus, we have fish-only menus, meat-only menus. We will do menus bespoke for anybody, and I think it's an important part of a restaurant that we can do that.